Come talk shit in politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J. And this is Hot 702.5.
It's Kristie J from the Chisholm Report. You're tuned in Hot 702.5.
Yeah. Election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah. If I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream, wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid. You and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, the truth, yeah. Your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks that have reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, with all whole hands every week on the beach. Party by the sand, word up. Take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no taxes. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to JF
I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president. I feel the rain coming, let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go. Refugees, yeah.
Good morning. This is Kristie J, and you are in with the Chisholm Report. Thank you for coming in and being able to speak with me today. Call in 702-551-5261. I would love to hear your opinion about what's happening around the world. So this is the Chisholm Report. We are named after Shirley Chisholm, who ran the first black woman to run for president. Just to go off of that, I have a political science degree from Southern University, and I've been doing politics for a minute now. This is my passion. I'm here to be able to make sure that you understand what's happening on Capitol Hill and your community. So if you, like I said, if you have anything to say, call in 702-551-5261. And once again, just thank you guys for calling in. coming in for today. So it's a lot of stuff going on it's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is that the fact today is the first day that you can go and vote, and you have from today into June 10th here in Nevada to be able to go vote. So I just want to give you a gist of what that is. I have a video for you.
There are some changes you should be aware of this year as you head out to cast your vote in our primary elections. First of all, you may notice there are more races on the ballot. City Clerk Luann Holmes says this is all part of an effort to lower costs and raise participation in our elections.
2019, AB 50 was a legislation that got passed, and it was actually presented by the Secretary of State's office. And they decided that it would actually save money for all the municipalities and the Secretary of State's office. And it would also bring more attention to voters, so we're hoping to see an increase in our voter turnout. And we're going to be on a combined ballot.
On the ballot for the city of Las Vegas, you'll find 3 city council seats for wards 2, 4, and 6, and just 1 municipal court judge up for election. Holmes says voters sometimes underestimate the importance of voting in local races, but you're going to have a better chance of getting the ear of a local representative than getting an audience with your federal delegation.
And the White House actually said that. They said the government that's closest to the people is local government. It's local democracy.
Here is something else new this year. During the pandemic, it was decided to make sure all registered voters had mail-in ballots. Those ballots are going out again this year. So no matter how you choose to vote, hang on to that mail-in ballot, even if you plan to vote in person.
If you're kind of a traditionalist and you want to come on early vote day or you want to come on election day to the polls and actually vote, we're going to ask that you surrender that ballot. So when you come to that location, you're going to hand over your ballot, and then we're going to get you set up and you can vote on the machine. If you happen to lose your ballot or you forgot your ballot at home, we're going to ask you to sign an affirmation saying that you're only going to vote once, you're not going to go back home. We don't want anybody voting twice.
If you like to vote early, you might also like what the city of Las Vegas has planned this year. On just one day, May 31st, you can head to City Hall to cast your vote anytime between 7:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m.
We're also going to have a vote party, which is kind of unique. We're going to have food vendors, we're going to have music, we might have some free giveaways. And if you come down to the City Hall, you can vote and grab lunch, you can drop off your ballot, or you could actually, we're going to be set up as a polling location, so you can actually surrender your ballot and vote here if you'd like to do that too.
Here are all the important dates for this year's primary election. Early voting begins Saturday, May 28th and runs through Friday, June 10th. The primary elections will be held Tuesday, June 14th. However you choose to vote, early, mail-in, or on primary day, just remember, have a voice in your community's representation. Vote.
Okay, thank you. So just to kind of give you a gist of what they were looking for, so I wanted you guys to know that they're mailing everyone a mail-in ballot, okay? If you do not want to use the mail-in ballot and you want to actually go in to vote, you just take that mail-in ballot that they mail to you in with you, and you'll render that to them. That way they can know you're not doing voter fraud, and you can also be able to, make sure that your vote counts without them saying, hey, this person voted twice, or you already turned your ballot in, or anything of that nature. You're able to go ahead and prove that I have the mail-in ballot and be able to vote right then. Okay. Most important about that is that the stuff that's going on with us now, okay, the stuff that is going on with us right now are because of us not being represented in the Senate, in the House, in government, period. It is because we, as a people, and I'm going to be very honest, we do not take the responsibility seriously when it comes to us. But then when we see things like mass shootings, them saying that you can't have abortions, them trying to cut back on your welfare or your medical or education, cost of education, the inflation of everything, then it's our fault that we are not being accountable for what's happening to us here locally. And that's the biggest issue. I mean, talking about a pet peeve, that's something I truly have, because I hear someone say, my vote doesn't count. and it's far from true. Okay, you do have electoral colleges, but that's just to be able to pick your president and the national representatives. Okay, your purpose is for you to make sure that you have someone that knows, not just say knows your life, but lives your life. Okay, can understand where you come from, can understand the climate of where you come from. Here in Las Vegas, we know we're hot. Okay, and them saying that it's against the law to be able to pass out waters and stuff like that if you're standing in a voter line is disrespectful, and also it's a deterrence. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're doing those things because it's important. It's important for us. I wanted to talk to you guys about Memorial Day, and I had a clip of Memorial Day information that I wanted to be able to share with you. Please give me a call if you have anything to say in regards to the clips that I have for today. But this is the clip at 702-551-5261. Call in.
The Memorial Day celebrated today has pretty much erased the contributions of African Americans. But why are we surprised? First known as Decoration Day, Memorial Day became a national holiday in 1971. But Memorial Day's traditions actually date back to the days of the Civil War. John Logan, a Union Army general, typically gets credit for founding the holiday. Here's how it really went down. The year was 1865. The Civil War was raging, and Charleston, South Carolina was a hot mess. White people were like, we out. But thousands of black people, many former slaves, remained. At the time, many Union soldiers were being held prisoner in a converted racecourse. At least 257 of the captives died because of the horrific conditions, and their bodies were discarded in a mass grave. Ultimately, the Union won, and a few weeks after, the Confederacy surrendered, and they packed up and left Charleston. A group of black workmen dug up the bodies, then reburied them to properly honor the fallen. They built a fence around this makeshift cemetery with a sign over the entrance saying, "Martyrs of the Racecourse." I spoke with Professor David Blight, an American historian and scholar who's credited with bringing this story to light.
They held a huge parade, and it was about 10,000 people, led by black children, carrying armloads of all kinds of flowers. They paraded around the racetrack, and then they gathered as many as could fit into the cemetery compound. About 3 or 4 black preachers read from scripture. A children's choir sang, and they sang America the Beautiful, if you can believe it.
But still, hardly anyone knows about it.
On May 1st, 1865, is in effect the first original performance of Memorial Day, but it was created by African Americans.
Why have black people been omitted from a critical part of this holiday's history? I've got an idea. Racism.
The white South was able to control first its own narrative, and then a good deal of the national narrative.
Despite efforts to forget the contributions of African Americans, we remember. And just as we remember all of our fallen soldiers, we must also not forget the black workmen whose noble actions became the catalyst for the holiday that we recognize today.
What's up? I'm PJ with The Root. We want to bring you more series and videos like this. And we
Okay, thank you. So just to let you know, happy Juneteenth next month. If you have any type of events that you're doing for Juneteenth and you want to call in and speak about them so people know in your area that you guys are doing something and celebrating, that'll be great. I just want to point out a point that had last Juneteenth, I was at work, and I was very upset about this because I felt like, okay, if it's a federal holiday, they're still being able to pick and choose what days they're able to give us for federal holidays. And I wasn't off, and I didn't have the option to be off or anything. And I don't think that just because they gave us a so-called holiday that was already a holiday for us, I don't understand why we sit back and we allow them to do that to us. Like, okay, so yeah, they gave us a holiday and then we're over it, right? Same thing with the Juneteenth ice cream. So the person that coined the name Juneteenth is a white man. I didn't know that. So it bothered me to know that this man that did the ice cream, the man that did the ice cream, this is just a marketing scheme to be able to get you guys to buy stuff. Like, what did the ice cream really have anything to do with Juneteenth, black people, or anything? You know, so just watch out for culture vultures, people who say that they are down for our cause, but it's just to be able to make money. And it is, we allow this to happen to us often. Okay, fashion and everything else, they all come back to us. They all come back to us, and it's our fashion, it's our wave, it's our style that they're reselling back to us. And it's, when do we stop buying it from them? Why is it hot when they get it and then we want to buy it? So if you have any comment about that, go ahead and call in 702-551-5261. You guys know what's happening in Texas. We had the shooting at the elementary school. There was 19 kids that died and 2 teachers. This was so hurtful for me. These kids are the same age as my son, okay? And I can't imagine what he would do if he was in that situation. So I don't know if you've been under the rock or what you've been doing, but I just want to give y'all a gist of what actually happened. What actually happened with it, and I want you guys to be able to understand.
Buffalo shooting is now facing a charge of first-degree murder, but pled not guilty in court yesterday. Criminal defense attorney and former homicide prosecutor Bernarda Villalona joins me now for more on this. Bernarda, thanks for being here. 10 people died in this shooting. So why is this suspect only facing 1 count of first-degree murder?
Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about was the fact that the murder that was in Buffalo at the Tops grocery store, okay, he's only being charged with one count of first-degree murder. I had a lot of people upset with me in regards to this, but I wanted them to explain this to you of why he's only being charged with 1 count and what happens with it, which was that clip that we were going to play. So that's what I wanted you guys to know. Huh? While we get this on, did anybody else wonder why the white boy who went into the grocery store was able to go in and kill 10 people, but the Hispanic boy that went into the elementary school did not make it out? I'm not saying that there's a difference, and I'm not saying that there's I'm not saying there's a difference in what they did, but I do have an issue with. I have an issue with that.
Buffalo shooting is now facing a charge of first-degree murder, but pled not guilty in court yesterday. Criminal defense attorney and former homicide prosecutor Bernarda Villalona joins me now for more on this. Bernarda, thanks for being here. 10 people died in this shooting. So why is this suspect only facing 1 count of first-degree murder?
So it was a strategic decision. That's not going to be the final count. What happens is that when you take someone into custody, you have to have at least 1 count that you're holding them on. And this being a top count, murder in the first degree, is sufficient to hold him in custody without bail. Finally, on Thursday, there's going to be a felony hearing. In that felony hearing, the prosecutor is going to have to present evidence in order to show there's probable cause to hold this defendant in custody. And I believe it's at that time where the prosecutor is going to present represent the 10 counts of murder in the first degree, as well as the assault or attempted murder counts as to the 3 non-fatal victims.
Now, the victims, all of the victims who were killed in this case who are black, the Justice Department is calling this is a quote, a hate crime and act of racially motivated violent extremism. So how does that impact this case from a legal perspective?
Exactly. I see it as a racist massacre, what took place on Saturday. So in terms of how it's going to impact it, you have the federal government as well as the state government. The state government, as of now, is pursuing it as murder in the first degree. I'm looking forward to the federal government jumping in, because if the federal government is to bring charges of hate crime leading to death, guess what? It qualifies the case for the death penalty, because currently in New York, the death penalty has been abolished. So despite this man killing 10 people because of their race, the death penalty is not applicable in the state, but it is with the federal government.
And we heard both Brad and Aaron refer to that 180-page document, this sort of racist, rambling document referring to the Great Replacement theory, which we know is false. But how crucial will this all come into play once and if and when this case goes to trial?
So it's crucial in the sense of, number one, it goes to show you how meticulous this man was in the planning of this massacre. And two, it goes to show you what was in his mind when he decided to use that AR-15 and shoot at multiple people. And intent is very important when it comes to proving the charges, whether it's in the federal government or in the state government. Intent is going to play a crucial role, especially if you want to prove that it was a hate crime.
And
So I wanted you guys to understand, like, people were calling me and they were upset about the fact that he was only being charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. And like she explained, you have to have something to be able to hold them for the actual crime. So them putting 1 on there is going to change, and we will be able to see him being charged for all of the murders, plus the people that were in the store that were not killed or shot, and also the people that were shot but not killed. So everyone in there, there's going to be several counts of things that's on there when we actually go to trial with that. So I just want to give a highlight on that really quick so people understand what that is about. Now I am going to talk about the shooting that happened in Texas. And I like I said, if you haven't been around, this is just to be able to give you an understanding of what happened and what's going on with us now.
Is gripped with terror as a deranged shooter opened fire on an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas.
This morning, the devastating new details after a gunman opened fire here at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. 19 students and 2 teachers killed.
My heart was broken today, and we'll need your prayers to get us through this.
Before entering the school, gunman 18-year-old Salvador Ramos shot his grandmother at her residence. Shortly after, the suspect crashed his car outside of the school premises where he engaged with law enforcement.
That's when he starts shooting at the window. So he starts shooting it all up. All kinds of smoke is like in the room as we're in there.
Authorities confirming the suspect was armed with an AR-15 style rifle. Officers arrive on the scene and begin exchanging gunfire with the shooter, while some parents rush toward the scene in desperation.
Hey, it's okay. We're right here. Go inside, go inside.
The gunman fatally shot by police. A community now grieving as families mourn the lives of those lost.
And this is yet again another horrific reminder that we're really living in a time where our children can't even safely go to school, and our grandparents can't even safely go to a grocery store. And truth be told, right now, everybody with a son or a daughter that's living in America is living in fear that their child's school could be next. See, you can't even have the peace of mind of believing that your mother or grandfather, your sister or your daughter can go to church or school and make it home safely. And damn it, if we can't protect and preserve the innocence of our American women and children, then what the hell are we even doing? See, the data shows that 27 school shootings have occurred this year alone in 2022. And I gotta be honest, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't care who's on the left or the right. I only care about these kids, period. And everybody's hearts and minds should be about these kids, including our senators and lawmakers on Capitol Hill. See, we vote for our best and brightest on both sides of the aisle to come together to help our citizens. And we were all taught that 2 heads are better than 1. But what happens when over 100 politicians can't even bring their heads together to create a solution for this American carnage? See, the left or the right, none of it matters if the little people in the middle are getting squeezed.
Okay, so just to let you guys know, in 2022, the reason for the highest reason for child death right now is gun. The fact that we cannot get them to understand that, like, I keep hearing these comments and everything else from basically the Republicans. And then also, I've heard it from family members and things like that, people who actually, they want their gun, they want to be able to carry their gun. A lot of people really agree with the fact that we need better background checks, but we don't have anyone that has a backbone that's in the Senate or the House right now that will actually fight for us to be able to get this. Yeah, you can speech. It's a speech every month. Are you guys used to this? Because literally every month we're talking about a murder, a mass murder, a killing, someone going in behind hate. Okay, not just this just a random shooting. They just felt bad that day. No, it's been race. It's been age. It's been their gender. It's been all kind of stuff that we've been dealing with, and it's all geared towards hate. So it was 19 children, 2 teachers. Okay, he shot his grandmother first, and then drove to the elementary school. So he engaged with what he thought people who had seen him at the funeral home, started shooting at them, and then randomly he runs into a open door. The building has the door is unlocked, and I don't know about that. That bothers me also. So how did he get into this door? Okay, got into this door and went in, started shooting as soon as he got in, and then barricaded himself into a 4th grade class. Okay, and started to shoot these children and the 2 teachers that were there. There was a 11-year-old who saw her friend get shot in front of her. She quickly reacted and grabbed the blood, smeared the blood on her, and laid down like she was dying, like she was dead. I mean, what a traumatic situation, and that you have to be in to know that he's going to kill me. You 9, 10 years old, this person is going to kill me. I'm going to act like I'm dead. I'm going to smear this blood all over me, and I'm going to try to survive this situation. Like, I can't imagine what kids would do, because I can't imagine what I would do in that situation. I mean, of course, I'm a fighter, so I'm probably go sacrifice myself for the kids, but I'm at work. I'm teaching kids math, English, science. I am not in the mind frame of being able to fight a man or try to keep him from killing me and my students. Here in Las Vegas, just a couple of days ago, I think that was the day before yesterday, some random man decided he was going to go into a school, and 3 teachers beat his ass, okay? 3 lady teachers, okay? And I give them kudos. Thank you so much, because you never know what people are on these days. And this is bothering me because these are soft targets. This is church. This is grocery stores. This is elementary schools, junior high schools, high schools. This is the movie theater. This is a parade. This is a marathon. This is ridiculous, because when can we, you know what? Call in if you got other feelings about gun control. I don't understand how someone can sit and argue that. And they were like, only thing that can beat a bad man with a gun is a good man with a gun. But what if neither one of them had a gun and you had to use your fist? I don't even mind you having a gun. I think this was David Chappelle or somebody, Chris Rock years ago, was like, bullets should be like $5,000 a bullet. My grandfather had a great idea in regards to bullets. He wrote a letter to Obama. I still have the letter. Well, his dry, what you call that? The dry run. The letter beforehand, before he typed it up. That. I have that. So he wrote a letter to Obama saying that basically that there should be a serial code on every bullet, and then it be tracked to the person who purchased it. You'll know the serial numbers from the purchase, the batch number, and then at that point you'll be able to retrieve the bullet, and if possible to get the bullet, and then at that point you can be able to use that bullet to be able to figure out who did this or whatever. But this is crazy that just last week we were dealing with the fact that we had elderly people being shot down in the middle of a grocery store. Okay, now we have children who were locked in this room with this man, and it's a man. It's not a boy. I have a clip about his mother speaking about this situation. I'm going to let you guys hear it, and then I'm going to come back.
No tengo palabras. No tengo palabras para decir no sé lo que estaba pensando. Él tenía sus razones para hacer lo que hizo. Y por favor no lo juzgan. Yo nomás quiero a los niños inocentes que se murieron. Perdóname.
¿Qué les dices a los familiares de ellos?
Perdóname, mi hijo. Yo sé, él tenía sus razones.
¿Qué razones pudo haber tenido?
A que se acercaran más a sus niños, en vez de poner atención a las otras cosas malas. Yo no tengo palabras, no sé.
Okay, so they were speaking to his mother, and his mother was basically saying, please, she was like, to the children who died, please forgive me and please forgive my son. Don't judge him. She said, they asked him, why not judge him, And she said, well, I believe that he had his reasons. And he's like, what reasons did he have? And she said, well, he was probably trying to get closer to the children, but not knowing all the bad things that happen with it. I don't know. Like, first of all, she had to know. And that was another thing. I saw another story that said that he was FaceTiming her while this was going on. Okay. 18 years old. She purchased the gun, the rifle for him at the store that she worked at. And then, to me, she's responsible. She's responsible because she bought the gun. This is my thoughts. And my thoughts is she's responsible. She's responsible. He was not 18 when he purchased the gun. She's responsible to me. Okay? And the problem is we don't hold adults accountable for the things that these kids are doing. And if people knew in a regular life that there was consequences, real consequences about what you do to people. Like I was saying last week, I said I believe that the shooter from Tops should be tortured to death. I don't care what y'all say. This is how I feel, okay? Because they think they could be able to just have a moment and go and do something, and then at the end of the day, you get 3 cots in a hot. You get to go live it up on taxpayer money or whatever. I don't believe that. I think that if you knew that you would be hurt very badly, all the way down to an eye for an eye, I think that life would be ran a little bit different here. But we don't. He was able to walk out of there. None of them kids walked out of there. None of them, the elderly people that they had in that grocery store was able to walk out of there. Okay, I don't understand it. Like, if it was any other situation, why are we dealing with this? Why are we allowing this to keep happening to us? And only thing that we're doing is fussing. We're not making any moves towards being able to get things fixed. So I'll go to this. The GOP, not one Republican senator voted for the so-called bill to combat domestic terrorists, neo-Nazi, or white supremacy bill that they did. Okay, if you're black and you're a Republican, call in and tell me why. Okay, because to me it would make sense. Why didn't they? And instead of them doing the George Floyd that they had already tried to pass beforehand, and this was not because of the George Floyd is to talk about law enforcement. It has some points in it about just race or whatever, but it's more about law enforcement and authority. Okay, so you pass that, but you won't pass us a bill or a declaration for just black people to not be targeted and killed like you did for the Asian people. They should not be targeted and killed. Neither should we. Okay? So if you are a Republican and you believe that they have your best interests at heart, please call in 702-551-5261 and tell me, what is your view on the fact that not one of your fellow Republicans voted, not one Republican, that's including black Republicans, voted for that bill? When it's your clan over your country, there's a problem. There's a huge problem over the fact that they'll know stuff is wrong. They'll hint to it and say, well, we know that or whatever, and then still stick with their clan. The whole country wants, the country really wants gun control. Not to say to take away people's guns who are law-abiding citizens, who are using their guns for recreational, or, you know, they just collect them. Whatever the case is, we're not trying to take your guns. We're trying to take the people that already have issues. Like the one that went into Tops had a year before then, they brought him in for questioning. And this is a situation that keeps happening. They keep saying that he had 582 pages of him telling what he was going to do. He had teachers complaining about what he had said he was going to do, and they still let him go, right? I know you want to give everybody a chance, everybody but black people, you know. Everybody else is innocent until proven guilty. But why? Why are we dealing with this? And why are we allowing this to keep happening to us? So the reason for me showing the video with his mom was because I understand that, you know, you're a parent. You're not that person. That's your child and you love them. But you can't control everything they do. But you can control the things that you put in front of them and the things that you allow them to have in your home. That's why I say she is just as liable as he is. They also, in speaking about that, they were videotaping and talking to other people that were in the crowd, and the other little boy was like, it was like a game. It was like Grand Theft Auto, or he was like Call of Duty. He said it felt like I was in Call of Duty, right? So they think it's a game. They think that you get 3 lives, and then the game stops, and then you can start it all over again. It's like in their minds they don't understand how death works. Because in video games and in rap music and all the rest of this stuff, you see them playing with guns and all this stuff, but that's not reality. And you allow your kid to sit there and kill people on the computer for hours and hours and hours and don't think that they'll get any type of thought about doing it in real life. You wonder why your kid's stealing your car, but you let them play Grand Theft Auto. You wonder why your kid is selling drugs and the music that he's listening to is Future, that actually doesn't take drugs. You wonder why your kid is taking drugs, and that's because it's all over the computer. You wonder why your child is having issues figuring out what they are in their own gender or sexually and everything else. Is because this is everything that you are allowing to touch your precious kid before he or she is ready with the knowledge to be able to get that information. when I talk about being gay or being straight, okay? A 6-year-old does not need to be in a halter top, okay? Boy or girl. Why? Because a halter top is to be able to show your midriff, so you can show this being sexy. And who's sexy? Women, grown ass women. Okay? Booty shorts. I know these dudes is out here with their hoochie daddy shorts on this summer. I'm watching. Okay? 3 inches above the knee. I've seen it. But you want to wonder why your daughter got on booty shorts, but you got on booty shorts. You on Facebook twerking. You TikToking. She getting it from you. These issues are starting from home. This is home government first. Okay? So you govern your home first. Because how dare you try to tell somebody else? This is voting and everything else in your community, having something to say about somebody else, kids, everything else. Govern yourself. What's happening at your house? And if you can't say anything, if you got your kids going crazy at your house, your husband cheating, your bills not paid, and everything else at your own house, how you gonna tell somebody how to run a country? So the government starts at your home yourself. You govern yourself. Then who you are in charge of or who you are responsible for, you're supposed to give them the knowledge so they can do better, right? So that's your household. You're going to influence them the way that you are going. You're their first line of influence, okay? So then it goes from that to your neighborhood, from your neighborhood to your community, from your community to your county, your city, from your city to your state, to your state to the country, to the world. This is very simple. Worry about yourself. Stop being so worried about everybody else and what's happening with them, and then what's happening with you is not working. So it bothers me that that child said it was like Call of Duty, because he sees that every day. He doesn't even understand that his classmates are not going to return. I don't think it dawned on, I don't think it's going to dawn on them that their classmates are not going to. Think about the trauma that they're going to deal with. Think about the trauma that they're going to deal with seeing that happen. Then seeing it play out. And then seeing the government not do anything about it again, and it happens again next month. Because that's what happens. Every month we forgive and forget. Every month they go on, all of a sudden they didn't pass the George Floyd. Okay, cool. Next month, more dead bodies, and then we go be like, well, we're mad again. And then they were like, okay, well, we're going to do one thing for you. And then you're going to be right back. Same thing next month. Same thing the month before. Same thing month after that. Next year it's going to be the same thing. My question is, do you believe that school staff should be able to open carry, okay, for school hours, during school hours, and also events? Put that in a comment. Put your answer in a comment for me. Tell me if you think that it would be right. Do you think that it would go the wrong way? Do you think that just because a teacher don't like a kid, it would be more geared towards doing something to them? Do you think that the kids would feel safe with their teacher walking around with a gun on them? Do you think that it is safe for a teacher who you don't know and don't know what they do once they leave the school to have a gun around your child? These are the questions that we need to ask, and we need to ask them. We need to have these discussions, and we need to move forward on doing something. Otherwise, next month, when we hear about somebody shooting at a kid's school, we're going to be in the same position. So that's what's happening with that. It's been bothering my soul, okay? And has anybody else noticed that every time this happens, Sandy Hook, when they had Sandy Hook, that was in Florida, right? They had the NRA convention right there in Florida next following week. They had the shooting in New York next following week, NRA convention. Here now happening in Texas, Houston. They are there right now telling them that gun control is not the way to go. And whenever we decide that we're not going to, okay.
A bipartisan group of senators is working on a potential compromise on gun control. Meanwhile, thousands of people protested today outside the NRA convention in Houston. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda is live now with the latest. Carlos?
Well, Ellen, there is growing demand for lawmakers to do something to stop mass shootings. Polls show a majority of Americans support background checks and other gun safety measures. This comes as the NRA is holding its convention in Houston.
They came to make their voices heard. Outside the convention in Houston, thousands of protesters, a rally against gun violence. From the air, you can see the size of the crowd. Among the speakers, Texas candidate for governor, Beto O'Rourke.
Let us commit ourselves right now to doing the hardest things that we can think of, because nothing about this will be easy.
Up to 80,000 people are expected to attend the convention. The mayor of Houston says organizers should have considered postponing the event. He stressed there needs to be changes to our laws.
This is a situation, a problem that's not going to go away, just wishing it goes away.
Among the speakers, David Hogg, who survived the 2018 Parkland, Florida.
So I just wanted to give y'all an update that in action of this happening to these kids, they are there fighting and arguing, saying that guns are not who kill people. We all understand that actually you do not need a person these days to be able to shoot a gun. You don't even need a person to drive a car these days. So that's not true any longer. Okay. And yes, it takes a person to pull the trigger. But if the gun was never there, they could not pull the trigger. Okay. So if you are a NRA person and you want to call in and say something. 702-551-5261. It hurts my feelings to know that you guys this keeps happening, and then we keep allowing them to keep doing this because we keep putting the same representatives in that are being bought by the NRA. This was really quickly. I just want to be able to talk to you and to ask you, if you knew how much America owed you for reparations, would it matter to you? And if you knew that if you could locally vote a representative in that would vote yes to be able to give you your money, the money that your ancestors sat there and literally slaved for, and they promised to us that they would give it to them for their kids and for their land, would you care? So I'm going to give you a number. Let's go ahead and give you how much they owe you.
Unless you didn't believe it until you looked it up yourself.
You might want to save this one in case this is the one that gets me in trouble. After Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and free blacks were promised 40 acres and a mule, he then proceeded to pay slave owners reparations of up to $300 per slave that they lost, which in today's money equals $7,500 per slave to these families. Fun fact about me is I had time this morning and I love numbers. So how much would black people actually be owed in reparations today? Well, since they were promised 40 acres and a mule and that was not paid up front, that then becomes a loan. The average rate of 1 acre of land in the contiguous United States today goes for about $12,000. If you multiply that by 40 acres, you get a number of $480,000. Also, on a loan, there's this little thing called interest. And when the principal is not paid, this interest is added. Now, on a land loan today, on the high end, there is an annual interest rate of 5.65%. So I started with $480,000 and I added 5.65% and added 5.65% and proceeded to do this until I had done this 159 times, which is the amount of years since the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. After I sat there and did that all that time, this is the number that I came up with. Now, in case you're confused by all of the commas, allow me to read that for you. That says $3,343,727,866.38. This is not including the
Okay, so do you care? I care, because if I could vote, if my regular one vote counted towards me and all my people being able to get our money that they owe us for the blood and sweat, tears, and children that they took and stole, wealth, education, knowledge, all of our heritage and everything else, for us to be able to get that. Do you know that if we all decided that we were going to vote to make sure that this happened, this could happen? So I just want you guys to look into that. I want to say this to the men that keep saying something about, first of all, let me say this about the abortion. You don't want us to get an abortion, but then you don't want them to be on welfare. And then now we don't have any formula to be able to feed the kids that y'all say y'all not going to put on welfare. Now, let me tell you, and then the men that keep saying this stupid stuff, well, you got titties, so breastfeed. Okay, so breastfeeding really feels like somebody, like a little monster sucking on a big pimple, okay? If you think about it like that, okay? And it hurts. It's not, and then think about it like this. I still got to go to work, even though I'm having an experience that is next to death. You want me to come in here with my swollen titties, dripping milk all over the place, with a little baby monster that is biting me on a big pimple. Okay? Think about it. Somebody's biting a boil and sucking it. Okay? That's what that is. That's somebody pulling liquid out of your body. Where can I pull liquid out of your body? Okay? That's nasty. Not that it's nasty, because I breastfeed. I breastfed. But what I'm saying is the shit hurts like hell. And every woman is not able to do that. Plus, if I got to go back to work because I'm a single mother, okay, because the dude didn't want to take care of the baby and I couldn't have an abortion, okay, or I couldn't afford this child, okay, now the baby go starve because I don't have no milk, and the government won't pay for it, and now we out here with babyless milk babies, whatever, okay. I just want to ask one question to all people real quick. If they had male birth control, would you encourage the men in your life to take it? I mean, like your sons, okay? The ones that's playing basketball that you don't want to get a girl pregnant before he goes to the league type. Would you tell him to take birth control so he doesn't do that? If your cheating ass husband was out here, you know what I'm saying, and you don't want to be embarrassed by all the additional children that he keep bringing in, okay? The outside children, would you encourage him to take birth control? How about your brother dealing with the scallywag hoochie from down the street, and you keep telling him that she ain't no good and he gonna be stuck with her, okay? Would you tell him? Because that's where we should start. We should start with men being able to take birth control. This would keep girls from being able to put babies on you, brother, okay? And it would help you be able to make sure you don't have to pay this child support later. Go ahead and pay that $48 and get you some birth control so you can all you want to, and you know that you ain't, that she not pregnant. I appreciate y'all coming in today. It's been a rough week for me, but I love y'all, and I want to come in here and give y'all the gist of what was going on. Be mindful. Know that you need to go out and vote. Today is the first day. You got to June 10th to vote early. June 14th is the deadline for you to be able to vote in the primary so you can pick your candidate. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. I appreciate y'all and love y'all. Make sure that you stay woke. Have a good day.